Hello and welcome to Open All R's. This is the QPR podcast. I'm David Fraser. There is only three of us tonight, but what a three. What a three, I don't hear you say. We are all original co-founders of the podcast. I have to my right my esteemed colleague, Paul Finney.
All right.
How's it going? How's the flower market doing this week?
You know they moved it.
The flower market.
Yeah.
I meant when I said the flower market, I meant like as in the flower industry.
Okay.
What's trending in flowers?
Right, listen, mate. The van gets packed with stuff. I'm told to drive. I drive. I get bollocked for getting lost, and that's what I do.
If I was to ask for your advice on what bunch of flowers to buy my good lady wife, what would you tell me?
Anything from funky flowers and not from the crappy supermarkets that are rubbish. I mean, you've got loads. I mean, I couldn't pick up. We just stay away from carnations and things like that there because they're not very nice.
Noted. As well as Paul, we also have Chris Charles.
Hello there.
Hello, Chris. And we also did have someone bail on us.
If I came to BT Sport, Chris, what station would you recommend to watch?
Right, yeah, okay. Well, all of them, mate, to be honest. They're all top draw.
And who would you recommend to listen to as a commentator?
Well, there's Ian Dark and, there's a few.
Well, that went badly wrong for me, didn't it?
Anyway, there's the three of us. Thank you for the beers to Dominic Lawrence. Thank you very much. He's
Thank
one
you,
of
Dominic.
the
Cheers, Dom.
many kind people that have gone on and helped and donated to the podcast and helped us.
It's a
continue
great
to
name.
run.
That sounds like a footballer's name.
Dominic Lawrence. Didn't he play on the wing for Leicester
That was Matt Lawrence.
after he came out of prison? Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking? Jamie Lawrence. Jamie Lawrence.
Oh, that
You
was
remember
normal
Jamie
Lawrence.
Lawrence? Yeah.
Who's Matt Lawrence then? What did he play for?
I don't know who
Hey,
you're
the
thinking
podcast
of.
is
This is
great.
going really well so
Yeah.
far. We actually do have a good show coming up. We have Clint Hill coming up. Absolute QPR legend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. He's coming up. So
Man of
we'll
Steel.
witter on for a few minutes and then we'll hand over the rest of the podcast to him. If you're new to listening to us, you can follow us on Twitter at QPR Pod. You can listen to all our old episodes at qprpod.co.uk. That's about it for now. We have had, let's say, a surprising start to the season. So we did the pod last week, having, oh my God, I've had a mind blank. Who was our home game against?
The first game of the season, David.
That's right.
You were there, think about it.
I was there, but I cannot...
We scored two, they
Reading.
scored...
Reading.
Oh,
Reading.
I was
Of
going to say
course.
identity theft.
Of course.
You always ruin it, don't you? You always jump in too
Identity
soon.
theft would have been a good clue.
I know, but the gobshite jumps in and ruins it all.
We had the fantastic result against Reading. Then we had the
Identity theft.
result against Northampton. And we had Saturday. Now, it's very unusual for us not to have anybody who was there. Yet that's the situation we find ourselves in. None of us
one of them
managed to
things.
make it. I know, Paul, you tried your best to make it, but personal circumstances got in the way.
Yeah.
That said, what is your verdict on Saturday and so far and where we find ourselves?
Well, thank you for asking me, David.
That is the nature of the podcast.
This is going brilliant. I'll tell you, if anyone's still listening. No, I think I'm liking the new Jimmy Mackie rule. I'm liking this a lot. I'm liking the fact that he's back to his old self. He's closing down and scored a decent goal. People will still say, "Oh, he's this, he's that, he's not good enough, he's that." No, he is. At the moment, he is. And long may that continue. And the defence. I mean, people are saying we made a mistake. Last season, we made loads of mistakes. So we're getting there. We've only conceded the one goal to Wednesday. I don't think that's a bad start to the season at all. Would we have taken that? I would have taken that. Bite your hands off. Like,
Yeah.
I know people say we should have won it when your man on loan missed it. I know Lualawa missed a sitter, but even so, we're creating chances. That's good enough for me. Would you not take 4 points?
Yeah.
A cup win, for God's sake.
No, I mean, I missed last week's, but there's no way I was expecting to be here 3 games into the season, unbeaten in all competitions. It's quite an odd one. And maybe I was a bit guilty of judging the pre-season game too much, although I will stand by the fact that I think when we haven't got Smith in the team as the focal point, then midfield is our strength. And I think playing it through the midfield and keeping it on the deck as we have been doing a bit more is definitely the way to go. And Scowcroft, it's great. He seems to be like the missing link all of a sudden.
Scowen.
Oh,
Scowen.
shit.
No, before you ask for us to re-edit, stop, you do it again. You said Scowcroft.
I did, didn't
when
I?
you meant Scowan.
I did.
Oh, we tip for you, Chris. I always say your man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was I was going to say? This little run of games. Two things. First of all, this run of games. I don't remember looking at the fixture list and thinking, "Hang on, that is a tough start to the season." But when you look back on it, maybe I did, but I've been thinking about it the last couple of days.
Right.
Start with Reading,
Yeah.
then Sheffield Wednesday, then Hull. That's 3 really tough league games.
The first 6 games are tough.
Yeah.
To be fair,
And to sort of be with 4 points.
I mean, don't forget
from
the
first
easiest.
2, we've got to be happy with them.
The easiest them games people would say would have been like the newly promoted teams, but Millwall want to come down and they want to turn us over because they hit Holloway. So every game in this league means something. I mean,
The other point is, are we in danger of also overblowing what we've done so
Totally.
why
far?
the frick
Newcastle lost the first 2 last year and then stormed the league.
Yeah.
Is it like, are we just taking advantage
Well,
from
long may
early
it
season
continue.
instability?
I go back to this time last season, and I can remember, we started like
We
a
beat
train
Leeds in
last
Cardiff.
season, yeah. And then we had Richard Langley on, who sort of warned against complacency. And I remember saying, no, stop that, I'm going to enjoy this. This is great. But then, sure enough, the wheels gradually started to come off. So no, I'm not, and I'm still sticking by the fact that I'll take not getting relegated as the first aim this season, and then see where it takes us.
but maybe in some bizarre way, the overspending, the lack of finances has actually made us in a better position where we have to coach, we have to make do with the players we've got, and we're not rotating. I mean, when you think of it, the team that started against Leeds last season, and how many of them aren't here anymore, that's only 12 months. So it's about time we start this, maybe find mid-table, stay there, and just consolidate and just keep a settled squad. But Skyen, to me, if he carries on like this, he'll be like Freeman. He'll be like 2 absolute bargains.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, you can't argue really with some of Ollie's signings, can you? I mean, I don't know who's picking the players out, whether he's noticed them, whether the scouts have told him. But
Doesn't matter, Gary Penrice, Les Ferdinand, Holloway. I don't care as long as we get good players.
Yeah.
Let's give them all
Would
praise.
you have got Luala back?
Personally, no, because of his injury record. But I like to be proved wrong.
no, but
No, you don't. You do not like to be proved wrong. Anyway, sorry, Chris. Small point of order there.
You're right.
he wouldn't have been the first name I would have been looking to bring back. But I don't know. He scored once for us last season, didn't he? But his injury record, as you say, was pretty bad. Depends what sort of deal we've got him on, I suppose.
The thing is, if you talk to Brighton fans, they absolutely love him.
Yeah.
But he's just not fit enough.
Yeah.
So, who knows? If you get the best out of it. I mean, the thing is, you always notice, and you'll know this because you're older than me, Chris.
Happy birthday, by the way. It was your birthday yesterday, wasn't
stop
it?
Yeah, stop it.
Were you 50?
He's still in your 50s.
Do you know that joke gets older every year? Oh, it does get older every year. No, I'm 40 here. I'm not. I don't care about
No,
going
seriously.
bald. I am 40 here. Okay. I was born on the 13th of August 1969, the day the Troubles broke out in Northern Ireland, as my mother always tells me. Right, going back.
Is that true?
It is. I was born the day the Troubles broke out in Northern Ireland, the 13th of August 69.
Well,
My
I
mum's
mean-
always blamed me. She said she came out and she thought she was in occupied Germany, after the war. Anyway, my mum was quite a deep historian before. Or is, not was.
What
is.
did you do for your birthday?
My mum was in hospital, so I spent it with mum. And then went to Richard Sounds and hammered them, so they gave me some money off so I would leave them alone so they could close their shop.
What are you looking to buy from Richard Sounds?
I brought a...
Separates.
Do you know what I did do Saturday? This is terrible. Mum took ill Saturday. To cut long story short, thanks everyone from Twitter. My mum had a bad Saturday, so I was just about to get the train to Sheffield and I had to come back and do that. But... Well, I didn't enjoy all that, and I did not enjoy missing the day with my fellow Oz fans. I did enjoy taking the piss out of the Chelsea fans on the way home, because she's in Chelsea and Westminster, which is yards away from their ground, and honest to God, you talk about faces like a friggin' bulldog chewing a wasp. Honest to God. They don't know what defeat is, and it was quite nice that, I was singing the blues on my own, and I don't care. I know we didn't win, but they didn't know that, so half of them didn't know we exist. But, it was nice. And it just shows you, all that hype, all that money, and little Burnley turned up and turned them over. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, back to us. I think he could be a brilliant signing if he stays fit, and that's going to be the key to it. But The more points we get, the better we play. You'll suddenly find.
Hang on, who are we talking about?
Luala,
So long ago now.
But you might have a birthday.
Yeah.
But
Luala,
the other thing we're doing as well, if you notice this, and this was with the Warnock's team as well, when we're playing well, players get less injured. You mark my words. When the team's doing well, players will always want to play for you.
Yeah.
Should we speak with Clint Hill?
Shall we speak to Clint Hill?
Shall we speak
Why
to
the
Clint
hell
Hill?
not?
Only if he's there. Is he
about that
there?
signal.
Hey, Clint, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, lads.
Good. I hear you're going to be back in hoops for us soon in a very important game.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I think kindly got invited to go back on the I think it's the 2nd of September.
Yeah.
Obviously for the charity game, which is a great honour for me. Obviously really excited to get the kit back on and get back on Loftus Road. So it should be a good game for a very important charity.
No, I mean it's a cause very close to everyone's hearts at the club. So we had Ian Taylor on a couple of weeks ago, and I mean obviously you can see that from the South Africa road end. You can see it's a horrible sight, and I hope it's a game that sells out and raises a lot of money for those who deserve it.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it was. Like everybody else, mate, watching it on TV, it was horrendous, and you just hope now that you can try and do everything that you can to try and help these people rebuild their lives. So any little bit that helps will be a plus for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. And as for you, I mean, have you found a club yet?
I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm still on the lookout. I was training with Chesterfield last week.
Yeah.
When Gary Caldwell gave me a call and said come in and do a little bit of training. Which was very kind of them. So I went there for a week, enjoyed it. Great setup with good coaches, good set of lads. And they made me an offer actually to go for a year. But I got home and I was just umming and ahhing over it for some reason. And I said, if I'm umming and ahhing, it's not fair on them to accept it.
No,
so I rung Gary. Yeah. So I rung Gary a couple of days and I said, Gary, if I'm umming and ahhing over this deal, mate, it's not right for you and it's not right for me. I don't want to be a month down the line and say, I don't think this is for me, and then leave them in the lurch. So we kind of mutually agreed and just wished each other all the best for the forthcoming season, really.
That's interesting, Clint. So for those of us who are not footballers in this conversation, which is 3 out of the 4, give us an insight into what, at your stage of your career, a footballer that's achieved as much as you have, with as much experience as you have. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were player of the season last year at one of the country's biggest clubs. What is it? Yeah. What is it that you're looking for? What is it that kind of makes you not and ah about a deal at this stage of your career? Tell us.
You know what? When I actually rung them, I said to them, I said, Gary, you know what? I hate turning anything down because, when there's nothing guaranteed, I'm taking a gamble. You know what I mean? I'm turning a contract down, and I've turned a couple down now. There was a couple to stay in Scotland at the end of the season, but I think when you played for a club the stature like Rangers and the facilities and the support that they had, it wouldn't feel right to go anywhere else. So I made the decision to come home and just basically see what was out and what was about, really. And I was travelling to Chesterfield in the morning, and it was taking me 2.5 hours, and there was no schools. You know what I mean? The school are off, and I was just to the point where I was going, I don't know if I can do 2.5, 5 hours in a car every day and perform as well. So that's a big thing for me. I'm very much. And I need to be in the right frame of mind, body and mentally, to get the best out of myself. And I don't think I could have done that for him. So I felt it was right to be honest about how I was feeling.
Where are you based then? Where would be a local club to you, say?
Liverpool?
Well, I'm in the north. Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, that'd be great. I think they could do with somebody who can head a ball. I can't do much else, but I can head a ball for them. But no, I'm based in Liverpool now. I'm back home. Okay. So that was always the aim, is to get the kids back home, and then I would see what's out and about. So, I'm in a strange position. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very frustrating, and it's a position I've not been in for over 20 years. So I'm trying to keep myself busy and keep myself fit.
Well, I think you'll get a club, and it's you're one in a million, Clint. you're an organiser. You won us a playoff semi-final and the final. All down to you, big man. Let's give you credit. But
Well, not about that. There's another two lads who were there who helped along the way, mate.
Well, you were able to communicate to the bench from what I've seen at Wigan and home and away and at Wembley, superb. But just before we talk about your QPR, there's just obviously you hear from my accent that the Celtic Rangers thing. What are them games like to play in? Are they insane as they look?
They are they're unique. They are unique games. I mean, I was privileged to go up there at such an advanced age and experience the whole culture of the clubs, and to live in that environment for a year was an absolute eye opener for me. To deal with all the press and that side of things was an eye opener for me, because if you say one thing that's half wrong, they're on it, and there'll be back page headlines for about a week. So to go into the whole build up of the game, it goes for probably about 10, 12 days before the actual game starts. The build up starts in the papers, 3 or 4 pages in all the papers. As soon as you walk into, I don't know, a coffee shop or a supermarket, you get people on you going, listen, we need to win this game. We need to beat them. And it's just constant. It is constant all the way through up into the game. And you get to the end of the game and you actually sit down and you go, wow, I'm absolutely knackered. Because you're just worn out because of the whole build-up and the whole expectation. And then you go into the games and it's 100 mile an hour and you've got all the pressures that go with that. And you just get to the end of the game and go, you know what? I'm absolutely knackered. I could do with a 2-week holiday here. You know what I mean? But just fantastic experiences. I mean, to go to Celtic and you walk out with a blue shirt on, the hatred there is second to none. You're warming up and you're running down the touchline and people, you see 80-year-old granddads, grandmas who absolutely hate you, coming out with all this language. You're like, wow, this actually means something to people. And thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I really did.
Well, you made a friend with Celtic fans because you scored. Talking of dodgy games, can I bring one game up from the past that I'd like to talk about, Clint? What really went on in that Chelsea game with the John Terry episode? What you can say? I mean, what really went on there? Was it bad blood?
You know what? I didn't, and I swear on my kids' lives here, I didn't hear or see anything that went on in that game. With that whole situation, I did not hear or see anything. And it kind of only really knew when I got in the changing room. And I think Anton went to his phone and it kind of all hell broke loose. But I never seen anything or heard anything. And, we concentrating on a game so much. And I think, they had all sorts of players on that pitch. That was the only thing I could concentrate on at that moment in time, to be honest with you.
You were too busy walking around with Juan Mata in your pocket.
Wow, look at that fella. Look at him. Jeez, he was a decent player. Look at him running past me. It was all them kind of things you had to think about. But I think back and go, I didn't actually hear or see anything.
So
any derogatory comments or anything. And I said that in my in the statements to the FA and the police as well. And it was just such a weird situation, to be honest with you.
So there's no aggro in the dressing rooms or anything like that. Was quite seen afterwards. It's just obviously what happened on the pitch and the aftermath that hit the press.
Yeah, it just blew up. It absolutely blew up. I think Anton went to his phone, seen what was happening. We went to our phones and it was all over Twitter and everything like that. And it kind of just went on from there. We were like, wow, what's happened there? Something must have been said or something must have been done. But I can hold my hand on my heart and say I didn't really actually see or hear of anything.
But one thing I will ask you about that game, when we scored the goal, what was the feeling like from the fans for that whole game? Did you feel the hatred, the electricity?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a derby. It's a London derby. Them games go back in time where they're very important games for the club. And for us to get in the Premier League and score the goal and send the fans home happy, mate, was a special feeling, And obviously you're playing against some great players, so you want to do your best against them. So actually get that kind of result was magnificent.
Yeah, I was drunk for a week, big man, I tell you.
Clint, Let me. We've asked you a couple of tough questions so far. I think having
think
Paul.
Well, haven't you? You have, yeah.
We have having
Sorry, Clint.
with Paul in before we came on air saying, "Don't worry, we won't ask you anything tricky." I think we've done the opposite. So let me.
Put me right on the toes.
Yeah, let me ask you the sort of the footballer
Hughes.
cliche question. Yeah, before we get on to
Mark
Mark Hughes.
Hughes, yeah, cheers, yeah. I'll tell you a story about that. I'll tell you a story about that. Let's go. I think it was literally about 4 or 5 months ago. I went to play in a testimonial for Andy Wilkinson at Stoke City.
All right.
And obviously Mark's the manager there. So I said, yeah, definitely, I'll come and play for you. No problem playing the game. So I get into the tunnel, and one of the staff members comes up to me and goes, Clint, you were supposed to be in Mark Hughes' team to play on his team against Andy's team, but he won't have you in the squad. And I've gone, you are kidding me.
Wow.
You are kidding me. I've said, wow. So I burst out laughing, and I've gone, no problem, mate, no problem at all. So I ended up sitting on in Andy Wilkinson's dugout, and he would not even look at me. He would not even look at me. He wouldn't even shake my hand or anything. And he wouldn't even put me in his testimonial team. Oh,
So who did you play for, the other team?
laughing my head off. I played for Andy's team, yeah.
So Clint, why do you think that was? I mean, can you say? Do you know? Was there any recollection?
Oh, listen, I don't know. Obviously, he's probably got a bit of animosity towards what happened at his time with QPR, and you know what? Listen, he made mistakes. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hide behind him, but he made mistakes at that football club, and definitely in the recruitment wise, he made mistakes, and you know what I mean. He should stand up and accept that, because I believe he did make those mistakes and he didn't handle the situation correctly. But that's another story. But I just thought I'd touch on that one because it's quite funny, to be fair to you.
Well,
I thought you might enjoy it as well.
Yeah. To be fair, Clint, right? As David always points out, I'm a very old age pensioner QPR fan. We never liked Mark Hughes. It was never going to work. And you don't surprise me. The man's a buffoon. Anyway, carry on with the podcast.
Well, I would like to ask you a question about that era then, in which case there was clearly what you alluded to, recruitment issues, problems. Basically, him and his agent, I can say, even if Clint can't, him and his agent brought in a whole load of new players on lots of money, and it kind of upset the apple cart, to put it mildly. There was a bit of a perception at the time, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all, but there was a perception at the time that then there was kind of a dividing line between, you know, the kind of new imports, or whatever you want to call it, brought in, and the kind of old guard, more British players, if you like, you, Sean Derry, Jamie Mackey, who are kind of watching this go on whilst trying to maintain your places in the squad. What was it like at that time?
No, listen. We helped the club come up into the Premier League, helped them survive in that first difficult year to stay in the Premier League, and then to see good people go. You know, lads who cared about the club and helped them get to where it was tough. Was tough to take, because you know, at the end of the day, there was no issue with money or anything like that these lads were getting, because listen, if you can get X amount of money, then happy days. There's absolutely no problems with that. But it was the commitment and the desire to go out and go play for the club that hurt the lads more than anything. And you could just see some games that it didn't hurt them enough, and they weren't willing to put the effort in on the training ground. And that was a big thing that upset the boys at the time. But these lads who come in were good players. You know what I mean? They've won Champions League, they won Premier Leagues, FA Cups, whatever. And you know, they should have propelled that club onto another level. But for whatever reason, well, I have got my reasons, but I won't say that just yet. But the mix and the way it was handled, and it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And the fans ain't stupid. They've seen that. I mean, the fans seen that. I mean, we can't hide that from, because they're not stupid fans. You know what I mean? And they could see what was wrong. So they were the only things. I mean, it wasn't a money issue or anything like that, because the lads go, listen, if you can get that money, go get it. It's happy days. It's only a short career.
Do you know what?
But you expect commitment and desire and that professionalism that got them to that standard to kick us on, and it didn't happen.
Do you know what, Clint? It was never going to... I don't know if you've ever heard this story about Mark Hughes when he got interviewed for the QPR job. And they asked him afterwards, like, you know, what do you think? And he goes, well, I've interviewed them and their expectations meet mine. And you're thinking, this is never going to work. This is not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, I think, well, it's been well publicised and people have said, yeah, mistakes have been made. And yeah, it's a shame because it put the club back a couple of years. It really put the club back a couple of years. You know, it really did. You know what I mean? I'm still bloody talk passionately about the place. That club should be it's still in the Premier League. It should have a new training ground. The ground should be renovated. It should have everything because, you know what I mean, 2 or 3 years in the Premier League, you should be still in there for me. Definitely.
Clint, another easy question coming up.
Who's going to win the next election?
Yeah. Adele Taarabt.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, amazing player, man.
Sorry?
Amazing player.
Amazing
Seriously,
player. But I don't believe he's played. I think he hasn't played a first team game since he left us.
No, I was going to ask that actually, but he started one game in 2 years, five substitute appearances.
What's your verdict on that?
It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. He should be, for me, he should be easily in the top 10 in football. The lad's got everything. The lad has got everything. Talent-wise, ability, skill, the vision you can see, the pass you can see, the goals you can score. I've said it before. He should be playing in the top teams in world football. He really should. And I'm not the first one to say it who's played with him. But that year and a half, he was unbelievable. One of the best player I've played with. Seriously, and it's a shame because we used to say to him, Adele, if you just correct this little bit, you can go on and be whatever you want to be, pal. You really can, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't sunk in.
Must be
and
very.
He's had chances. He's had chances. Gone still. I think he went to Portugal. I think to a top team like Benfica. And is he in Italy now? I think.
Yeah, he went on loan to Genoa from Benfica, having not played a single game for the Benfica first team.
That's still not a bad step, is it, to go and prove yourself?
Well, no, and he had a decent cameo at AC Milan as well, but for what I don't think they could afford him or something at the time.
I think they could afford him, but just don't think he turned up.
It's not like he hasn't had the chances to be given to go and prove himself. You know what I mean? He's had more than that, but it's such a waste of talent. It really is because he was an amazing player to play with.
Does it frustrate you? Because, I'm not in any way being disrespectful to you, Clint. You are a talented footballer, but what you perhaps, I hope you don't get offended by me saying you're not in the top 10 in the world, but you more than make up for it in attitude.
I've had to because, like you say, I'm not the talented player. I'm not quick. I can't beat a player. You know, I can't stick it in the top corner. I can't do them things. So you have to bring something different to the table. And the thing that I brought was an attitude and commitment, you know, to the cause. And listen, I've definitely got the best and the most I could have out of my natural abilities. I've definitely done that, and I'm very proud of that. But on the flip side of it, it's so frustrating to see somebody like him, with the born talent that he has, to not go and to go, kick on it and be an unbelievable player at a top league.
I'll give you another easy question here, Clint. just to carry.
You got time, by the way. I think we've been on for about 3 hours already.
I'll get my wife in a minute. She'll be phone calling me and thinking.
Well, we'll talk to her as well.
Yeah, we bring her on.
Yeah, I was just saying. I mean, obviously your contract wasn't renewed for whatever reason under Hasselbank. Were you a bit hurt by that? And do you see that you might have a role back at QPR sometime in the future, albeit coaching or whatever?
Listen, it was difficult to leave. It was very difficult to leave QPR, and I think it could have been handled better, if I'm being honest, because for about 5 weeks, 6 weeks before the end of the season, I was going into Les, I was going into Jimmy saying, listen, is something going to happen or not? Can we just be honest and just say yes or no? Because I felt like I deserved that respect, just so I can prepare myself and say bye to people that I might not see. And that never really came until, when was it? The Sunday after the final game. That I got told that I wouldn't be getting a contract, and that hurt me, to be honest, because I didn't really get the chance to say goodbye to people that that I've built relationships up with at the club. So that side could have been handled a little bit better, but unfortunately, you can't pause time, can you? I mean, clubs move on, teams move on, and it was hard to take, but an unbelievable time at that football club, unbelievable time, and I've had great memories there, and they'll live with me for a very long time.
Well, Clint, that's what leads on to my next question, which is, what is the memory that you take away from QPR from your time there? What sums
too
up the
many.
club? Do you think so?
Seriously, there's too many. There's too many. I mean, there's too many. There's promotions. There's rivals. There's relegations. There's playoff finals. I mean, listen, you could read a whole book. I don't think in those 6 years there's a boring time. Maybe the last year. Maybe the last year was boring because we were middle table. Where I mean that wasn't very exciting. But for them 5 years, it was like a roller coaster. You didn't know what was happening. You were up, you were down, you were safe. It was like, wow. It was a revolving door in a dressing room. You didn't know who was going to roll up. It was like, wow, wait, this place is unreal.
But I mean, you've been with a few clubs, but it strikes me whenever we speak to you that QPR seems to be the one. I just wonder why that is above all the other ones. What sort of draws you to QPR?
No, I think it's for them reasons I'm talking about, because when you go through those kind of emotions somewhere, then you just become attached to it. You really do, because you sample the good times, you sample the bad times, obviously, and it makes you appreciate those good times. And I think, especially those first couple of years I was there, we had a special feeling around the place. You know what I mean? That the fans got kind of rejuvenated. I mean, they began to believe, and they began to come back, support the club, love the club, see what was happening with the place. And, you know, that kind of fed down to the players. You know what I mean? You just bought into it, and it was a place that you really wanted to do well. And I think when you have those kind of emotions, there's no other feeling to have. You know what I mean? You just become attached to the place. And it was definitely the place that I enjoyed my football the most, definitely in my career.
Clint, what's next for you? Hopefully you'll get a contract, but dare I say it, you know, the end is 3 or 4 seasons away for you. Let's say. What's next for you?
You make him sound like Jesus.
You know what? I don't know. I'm stubborn, you know. I don't want the dream to end. I think that's why I'm still hanging around. I don't know. Like I said, I've never had pace or anything, so I haven't felt the deterioration as much as maybe somebody who relies on that burst of pace or speed to enhance the game. I've never had that in my career, so I've always kind of had to adapt in different ways. I'd love to play for one more year if I can. I've applied for a few coaching roles just in case things don't happen, and then that's my next step for sure. You know, that coaching role. I've just been on a course, an LMA diploma in football management. I've had to do assignments, which I haven't done for years. I've had to get a pen and start writing, get back on my computer. So I'm getting headaches from it all. But it's something that I'm very passionate about, and something that I'm desperate to get into when those boots do get hung up, for sure.
Well, I reckon whoever snaps you up is going to get a great player on their hands, and also not just in defence. I just looking back at the records, I think for us you scored 5 in 180 odd, 6 in 30 for Rangers. So next season I reckon you'll be a 20 goal a season man.
yeah.
Stoke are looking for a striker, aren't they?
That might be for my kids' team, by the way things are going, I think.
Brilliant.
But the thing is, Clint, going back to what you said earlier on there about age, I sometimes think in this country we're very, very guilty of judging a player on age rather than ability. It's something that we could learn a lot from the continent, where, you know, judging by what they can do in the pitch, not what their birth certificate says.
No, I agree. No, definitely, and I think that mentality is going to have to change, because I think in the next maybe 10 years, I'd say, with the new generation coming through, these lads have been like, that they're into the strength, they're into the nutrition. They've been brought up with all these right attitudes, and the facilities are high. I won't be surprised to see more and more players go into the late 30s, early 40s. I really won't, because they grew up with all this nutrition and strength and conditioning. I won't be surprised if you see more players go through it, to be honest with you.
But listen, Clint, they'll never have what you had. Listen, you give QPR fans are licensed to dream. You were that team, the promotion, the playoff final, everything, beating them scumbags, everything. You give it to us all. And seriously, thank you, fella. There will always be a pint in the current scepter for you in Shepherd's Bush. I can assure you of that one, fella. Thanks for joining our football club.
Well, hopefully,
No, get
hopefully
down.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
No, definitely.
Definitely,
mate. People come to QPR, like you said, they walk in that door, they don't make a difference. You made a difference, big man, and thank you so much for what you've done for us.
Mate, listen, they fulfilled my dream as well, mate. You know what I mean? It was a special club for me, and they fulfilled a big part of my career, so I'll always be grateful for that. And we'll definitely have those pints in a couple of weeks, yeah?
Good man.
Good man.
Take care, mate.
They're on David.
Good man.
Thanks, Clint.
See you later.
Cheers.
Cheers, have a good evening, yeah?
You too,
Yeah,
mate.
take
Take
care.
care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That's a great
I
interview.
wish I was
Oh,
Clint Hill.
love that.
I'm welling up here.
Someone asked me today, what's your favourite ever interview? And I think Sean Derry was fun, and there was a couple of others. And then someone else asked me what was the worst interview, and I sort of skated over the one where John Byrne forgot that he ever played for QPR. That upset you a lot, Finney. What did I play for QPR? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did play for QPR once upon a time.
Gave him the telly. He minute afterwards.
That was a great interview, and I'm making an early call for our live podcast guest this year.
Gotta be.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotta be.
What a live
Do you know what I like
podcast
about
that
him
would
as
be.
well? Like he doesn't. He's not a robotic answerer. You know. And the Mark Hughes thing, he didn't have to say that.
No,
but it
not
doesn't
at
surprise me. But at the same time, he's just like, I just laughed. You know, other people would have got offended, would have got upset. It's like, nah, do you know what? I just laughed.
Yeah, who'd win a fight between Mark Hughes and Clint Hill?
Oh, I wonder.
Clint Hill.
We've
Every day
got
long. He'll carry on when Mako left off.
way over, but it was
Again?
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are going to go very quickly.
Very all footballers are like Clint
We've
Hill.
actually got a second interview. Don't get excited. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not the same level. We're playing Norwich on Wednesday night, so we are catching up, getting a quick preview from a fan called Andy Lawn, who's co-founder of Along Come Norwich.
Hi, is that Andy?
Hello, yeah, hello.
Hi, mate. I'm glad you said that because Ted, or Bex Hoop, as he's known on Twitter, told me your name was Alan, so I did wonder if I was going to be put through to mid-morning matters. On that, is the Alan Partridge link something Norwich fans are proud of, or does it grate a bit?
No, I think it's something that we're proud of. Norwich doesn't get a lot of exposure on national television, so I think it's something that we sort of know how to take the mick out of ourselves, and it's something that we're looking to do some more of in the future. We're actually getting a Alan Partridge flag made for the Barclay.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I must admit, I'd definitely take that if he was a QPR fan, I think. So we're playing you on Wednesday. I must admit, I think we're probably both surprised by our start to the season, us because we've started so well, and you because maybe not as good as you hoped.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. So from your point of view, I think I was one of many people who thought you'd struggle this season, and 2 really good results you've picked up from what was an incredibly hard first run of 6 games I think you've got, and kind of the opposite from us. We did really well at Fulham, got a really creditable draw, but then lost 3-1 to Sunderland in a game we're all kind of expecting to win really on Sunday.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was definitely expecting you to win because, I mean, the shambles they were in last season and losing Defoe as well. But, well, as we've shown, it does throw up some strange results. And obviously in the Premier League, Chelsea losing at home to Burnley wasn't on anyone's Paul's panel. But, going into this game, are you confident this time, or has the Sunderland result made you a bit wary?
I think everyone is still fairly confident at the moment. We accept that the new sort of system that we're playing, the new players, the new coaching setup is going to take a little bit of time to bed in. Mm-hmm. But I think pre-season was really positive. As I say, the result at Fulham was really positive, and Sunday was a little bit like one of those games where nothing really fell for us, and we could have easily got a result out of it. It just was one of those games where it didn't really happen.
Yeah,
waiting for it to click, by the sounds of it, is what you're saying, Andy. So obviously we don't want it to click on Wednesday night, but if it does, where is the clicking likely to come from?
So yeah, I think waiting for it to click is a perfect description of what is the situation at the moment. We've got a midfield or attacking midfield 3. On Sunday it was Maddison, Naismith and Marley Watkins. It's likely to be Wes Hoolahan, I think, on Wednesday. When those 3 or those 4 click and it goes right, we will play some scintillating football. It's just when it doesn't go right, we didn't appear to really have a plan B.
Well, I echo what David says. I hope for your sake it does click, but maybe in a couple of weeks.
And anyone, obviously, I'm sure you don't study our team as studiously as many of us do, but anyone from us who you're worried about?
I think both Jamie Mackie and Connor Washington are kind of recognised performers at this level, and they've both started the season really well. Speaking to a QPR fan this week, they were raving about Luke Freeman as well, who I'm guessing is the guy from Stevenage, who he said was your big threat.
We signed him from
Bristol City.
Bristol City.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said that he was your big, like, all your attacks come through Luke Freeman, so need to shut him down.
And we've got Scowcroft as well from Barnsley, who's started really well this season. But our record against you, I was looking it up earlier. We've beaten you once since 2008. I mean, that's only 10 games, but even so. So the odds aren't stacked in our favour particularly.
No, but we do have a thing at Norwich where we're particularly good at ending runs.
Yeah.
So Sunderland hadn't won a game in August for 7 years, and they came here and won. So past form isn't really indicative when it comes to Norwich, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope the omens here don't ring true, because David sat in front of a yellow mic and all the chairs here are yellow as well. So, I hope that doesn't come back to bite us. But, David, you...
Andy, thank you very much for joining us. The worst of luck to you on Wednesday. And I'm sure you feel the same for us. And for those of you listening, Andy is the co-founder of Along Came Norwich. Did I get that right?
Along come Norwich, but yeah, close enough.
Along come Norwich. Andy, thanks very much.
Thanks ever so much.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I know we sort of jumped around very quickly because we did that great interview with Clint Hill, we did the Norwich preview, but we still need to move on. So, Paul, give me a combination of thoughts on Clint Hill and Norwich on Wednesday.
Do you know what? I've never had a thought in my life, David, but thanks for that build-up. I think Norwich is going to be really tricky. They're reasonably doing well, I suppose. I mean, until Sunderland smashed them, which is, when you kind of think, please don't get hammered at home before you play us. And they did. So, that's the last time we did that. I think that if we can carry this run on, another point from this, 3 against Hull on Saturday, do you know what? I'll be more than happy with where the season's going, and knock Brentford out of the cup. Yeah,
I mean, let's not forget that cup draw. That was a fiasco, wasn't it?
That was
home
hilarious.
or away. Yeah, they're definitely away. No,
whatever happened, just picking balls out.
Oh God, no! Talk about overcomplicating things.
Well,
Same with these penalty shootouts as well. I'm totally confused about the new penalty shootout.
Where
one team takes one, then the other take two, then the other.
Why
take
have they
another.
done that?
Because I know this. This surprise you, because I was listening to this in the radio the other day and they were moaning about it. It's to do with, they did stats, and there's the most pressure is on the second penalty taker, and they think it's unfair. So they're doing the second penalty and the third penalty.
Right.
Sort of thing. So it puts on that side to have less pressure than the side that went first.
Okay.
Yeah. Bloody stupid is what you're thinking, and you're bloody right. It's like everything in football. Soon they're going to get rid of goalposts, and they're going to put something on the moon, and you've got to try and land it there. Because what is ever wrong with the game that needs all these changes? It's perfect, it's brilliant, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. They keep making changes and absolutely mullering it.
I stumbled on a GAA game the other day on Sky.
Oh dear.
That's what it's called, isn't it? That's what it's
Don't
called.
look at me, I'm the wrong religion.
It was a Gaelic football game. I really enjoyed it.
I know what you meant.
Talking about getting rid of I really enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't understand the
This is
vast
really awkward for me,
majority
by
of
the
it.
way. I love it, but I've never... That's the weird thing about being in Northern Ireland. People talk about weird things, especially the way the world is now about hatred. We never seen a GAA game until I came over here. How bizarre is that? Live in the country, don't see. Wouldn't move to London, you see a GAA game. Anyway, carry on.
Arsend.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say one thing. We didn't mention Northampton. Yeah, we've actually won a cup game, which I don't think anyone was
played
expecting.
well.
Yeah,
And played really well as well.
And that Ilias chair, I mean, I know it's a lot of people.
He's got legs on him.
Yeah, people make.
I
wonder if that was part of the feng shui thing where you move your chair on the pitch.
Everyone's been saying, like, just hopefully the fella can come down and add to the deck that we've already got at QPR and carry on.
No,
He's
but he
worth
looks
the seat at the
he looks
table.
very promising.
I'm never going to stop doing chair gags.
No, it's not. I mean, there's somebody else. So far, so good, etc., etc.
To be
Yes,
fair,
so good. Yes,
But what I'm noticing,
I see what you did there. No, that
but the
doesn't
other good
work.
thing about the youngsters coming in as well, I've noticed this even in the Northampton game. Everyone's G&E, everyone else on. Everyone's given experience of talking to each other a lot more this season. There seems to be a lot more communication. I've been very critical of that in the past, but we haven't stuck up for each other. And I think it's something that we're doing definitely this season more. And Mackie looks like a new player, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I don't care how long it lasts. At least he's got people talking positively about him rather than negatively about him. And he's proved that he deserved that, as it stands, that contract.
Ours end.
We're not getting carried away, though, are we?
I'll start. First of all, that interview with Clint Hill was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
That's
So
great
that
to
wasn't
do.
my Ours end. I went to the Athletics the other night.
So did I.
I went to the Athletics and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I enjoy athletics. Are you enjoying, by the way, putting my pencil or biting chunks out of my pencil and putting it in your mouth?
I wasn't biting. I just had it close to my mouth.
Anyway, I really
That was
enjoyed
on
it.
scene.
I really enjoyed it, but I did think. Did you think this, Chris? I thought, what an awful stadium for football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, same thing to my daughter. It's great for athletics
Because
it's
you need a
perfect
big stadium.
because that's what it was built
But if
for.
you're West Ham, like Upton Park was charming in its way, I
Yeah.
suppose. You were on top of it. There was kind of that sense of club and community.
Getting chased down the road.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not near anything.
Well, it's
And
right near
just
where I work.
So
it was quite handy
vast.
for-
It's
yeah.
so vast. And it's way too big, and I thought, be careful what you wish for with a stadium, because
And
that is awful. For
And the
football.
other thing is basically because of the athletics and because they're only leasing the stadium, their first 3 games are away this season. So they've already got spanked by Man United. I think they got Southampton and somebody else. They could find themselves, adrift before they even play their first home
You
game.
say leasing, they've got a better deal than most Australians in Earl's Court, I can tell you.
No,
That
yeah.
deal they've got.
and a
Jesus.
good swerve for Spurs, that one.
Yeah.
I think they did well to avoid
definitely,
that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though. Right, quickly, can I just
Go on,
ask
Paul.
you 2 questions, but one question to both of you?
This is your R's end, though. Just do it all together.
All right, my R's end is that Clint Hill interview was terrific, marvellous, and probably
It's good how we're congratulating ourselves.
It's-
Didn't we do well?
it's
Weren't we really, really good at interviewing
he's
him?
just texted me and said, "Was that okay?" I mean, what a
Very
legend.
okay, pal.
What a legend that
We
man
need
is.
to take a picture of that text message and tweet it. We
he
will
got
do
his
that.
number, though, is it?
Weren't we amazing at interviewing Clint Hill? Yes, we were.
No,
Go on,
anyway,
Paul.
no, and my R's end is no. I was going to ask you a question before I was going to do the R's end, which is basically everyone's talking about the transfer policy. Do you think it's actually helped us not being able to buy too many players?
Yeah.
Okay. Dave?
I think in a way,
Coaching. We're in the era of coaching. I believe that, not just with us, but in football generally. You have to coach. You have to improve what you've got. By necessity, we've had to do it, and I think hopefully we're on the right track.
But having said that, Scowen, not Scowcroft, Scowen.
Yeah.
It looks like a very decent signing.
Yes.
And also we've got Alex Baptiste, haven't we?
He was a good player.
Yeah, I think he'll be steady.
Colker looked really good against Northampton as well.
Yeah, well, he should. I mean, he's he's going to be a bit ring rusty, but yeah, it looks like we're probably going to hang on to him as well.
Right, my eyes. What you hitting?
We're trying to not scare off Neil, our new engineer. He no one told him he's
Hang on,
not going to
hang
get home till 11 o'clock.
Hey, David, you know he's Irish.
Don't give too many clues away.
So this is nothing. This is like asking directions in where he comes
We
from.
told him we'd be done by 8 o'clock, and
You
it's
lied.
20 to 11 already.
All right, listen. My last bit of ours Ed, is thank you to everyone for your messages of support for my mum on Twitter. It means a lot. And I know I'm always tweeting about my mum being ill, but she can't help it. She gets ill a lot. And thank you, everyone. It makes a difference to know that people care. And I'd like to thank you all for that. And Norwich, we're going to win 1-0 and we're going to beat Hull. I reckon we're going to spank the arse of Hull on Saturday. I've got a feeling we're going to absolutely
Of
know
Hull?
them. Yeah, we're playing them Saturday.
Yeah.
I think I watched them.
Joint
They're
top
not
of the
that
division
good.
Hull. Yeah.
They're not that good. We can do this. Come on.
Well,
believe,
I hope, mate. I
believe,
hope so.
I
believe.
hate it when you say we're going to cruise a game, because then we never do.
Yeah.
Chris.
Well, okay.
That'll teach me to be positive.
I've got a couple very quick ones. First of all, we are going to lose at some point. We are going to have a Rick at some point. And I just hope Ollie stays true to what he's done so far and doesn't panic and start chopping and changing
With
again.
the exception of picking Smith.
Well,
You mean?
I've got nothing against Smith, and he did a perfectly good job for us when he came in last season. I just think
I
he's
think
a
we
better.
should give it the podcast.
I just think he's a better player to come. off the bench.
Okay.
And because like last year, as you remember, I mean, when we lost at Barnsley, that started Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank swapping things around, doing this, that, and the other, and I don't think it helped. And the second one was, I mean, I know the Chief made a bit of a ricket on Saturday, which led to the goal. But I've seen a few people on social media getting on his back and saying he shouldn't be here, we should get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. I just hope he's not going to become the new scapegoat for the season because
Ridiculous,
he doesn't
he's done
deserve
well.
it. He's a fantastic player and he's a good leader. So, yeah, that's it.
Oh,
really.
by the way, sorry about this.
Oh, here we go.
I forgot. Our long-time pal, quiz helper, and fellow drinker after podcast, Cindy had an operation. Cindy Grohl had an operation this week. So get well soon, Cindy, and you
Get
don't
well
forget-
soon,
Yeah,
Cindy.
get well, Cindy.
The podcast needs you for the pub quiz,
Absolutely.
Finally.
which we came blasted last week, by the way.
Finally, the longest podcast is coming since the last one is coming to an end. Predictions
Can't
for
blame me.
Norwich and Hull.
I've just done mine.
Yeah. Okay, Norwich. I'll be very happy with the point. Like I said, we've won in 10. We've won there. Good song by UB40, by the way. And the second.
That was before they went crap.
Yeah. And the second one, Hull. Yeah, I think we can sneak that 2-1.
We will send him to Hull and back.
Hey!
I'll go 3 points from the 2 games. Anything else, Paul?
Still building up nicely for Fulham game, eh?
Okay, this has been QPR Podcast. We're back. I'm definitely not taking my pencil back off you, Chris. You can keep that one because it's been in your mouth for the last half an hour.
There's no bite marks
We're back
on that.
next week. Chris and I are not. We're both on holiday, not together.
But
we
in the
are
same place.
In the same place.
Does that mean I've got to put a podcast
That
together?
means you've got to put a podcast together. You're hosting. So we'll see everybody. Just tune in 3 weeks' time. Right.
Yeah, bastard.
QPR, Brisbane Rangers are on the up and up. QPR,